So someone asked her if whether or not Chinese are racist towards black people. And she's basically going to break it down about the Chinese in China, if whether or not they are racist to black people.
I want to stay on topic and I want to answer your specific question of, do the Chinese people in China, do they hate black people? I want to discuss this. I do think that there are always going to be racists in every single demographic. Humans just have a way to be racist, and that happens in every single country. So I do agree with you that there are people who are absolutely hateful. They have a lot of hate in their hearts, and we see this person in every single country, every single race. So there are black people that hate Chinese people. There are Chinese people that hate black people. There always will be that population in every single demographic. Now, as a whole, though, for the most part, are people brimming with the anti-black sentiment in China? I will have to say certainly not compared to what is going on in America, right? Like certainly not, because there is no actual historical reason. There's no historical animosity between China and Africa. If anything, China and Africa are somewhat collaborating and helping each other start enriching themselves in a mutual win-win situation, today's modern diplomacy, to fight against Western powers. So I think politically, I don't think China views Africa or black people with any sort of malintent. Now, is there classism? Is there elitism that is racially tinged? Absolutely, absolutely. I would say that that's probably the case, where there is an element of looking down upon more impoverished races and countries, such as China now having achieved financial success. There is an element of narcissism, cultural narcissism. But is it malintent? Is it malicious hate? I would not say so. Not the way that the KKK feels about black people. I can honestly say that. Like, Chinese people are not like, we need to do this, we need to really come. There is no historical malevolence. And I honestly feel this way. So if you're Chinese, I hope you will speak up and comment on this. Is what I'm saying true? Because I will also tell you, if you are a black tourist who goes to China to look at things, people will want to take pictures with you because there are not a lot of black people in China. There still isn't. I heard that there's a decent population in certain areas of China, but for the whole, there aren't a lot of black people in China. So if you look up the influencers who are in China, who are black, you will see that their experiences have largely been positive. There's curiosity. There's an interest to say, who are you? What do you do? What are you doing here? Right? There's an interest in that cultural exchange. And so there's this curiosity, right? Like, because it's not common. So I would caution you that if you go to China, that might happen to you. You might get a lot of stares. But again, it's not the same way that you would feel as a black person walking into a wealthy suburb, I don't know, any American suburb, and you feel the way that they will make you feel unwelcomed. It's not that kind of stare. It's more like, who are you? What are you doing here? Like, what's going on? Like, it's curiosity, right? It's a totally different type of intent and attitude than what we would say black people face in actually America and European nations. But it's hard to distinguish that, right? Like, again, what you see is how you feel, and how you feel is what you see. So if you feel that Chinese people are staring at you and you take it in a negative way, then of course you're going to feel like they're being prejudiced against you. But I will tell you that for the most part, especially if you speak Chinese, oh my God, especially if you speak Chinese, they will welcome their heart to you. Because they're like, wow, you really took the time. You really immersed yourself in the culture. Wow, they will be very curious and they will invite you over. I actually heard one of an influencer on TikTok, and she talked about her experiences traveling abroad and studying in China, and people would literally invite her, and she's a black influencer, and they would invite her over to their house. Just like, come and eat with us, and be proud to say, look, I have a black friend. Like, they were proud of that. And that's what I'm saying, is that there is no malintent. There is no animosity. I genuinely feel that way. And I've never been to China and heard people talk negatively about black people. Never heard anyone talk like really, it's more ignorance. It's just ignorance. That's all it is. It's just, they don't know many black people as friends. They haven't really understood American culture. They don't understand what's happening. So it's coming straight up from ignorance. If there is hate, if there is bigotry, it is coming from a point of literally having zero knowledge, having no cultural dynamic, no cultural link. But for those of us like me who grew up in America as a young child and we see what's going on, we're relatively woke. We can see very clearly that white supremacy is trying to divide black and Asian communities from banding together. So I would say people like myself, I can tell you for a fact, we are not anti-black. If anything, we understand why there is this perceived animosity, and we're trying to assure people and say, please, please, please understand that if some of our ancestors do not seem very black friendly, it's more so due to cultural ignorance and lack of exposure and connection versus like a true, genuine hate, the way, again, like true hate organizations work. Because that level of hate really does not exist. There's no basis for it. It's more, I would describe as fear. And a fear of the unknown, really, and just preconceived notions, right? Which I can say again, if you're just lacking exposure, lacking communication with each other, you don't speak the language, how are you supposed to get to know each other, right? So I hope this was helpful.